let's turn on Mach 3 and do some setting up here. And then let's always shut off anything we don't need there. Okay, yes, I don't care. Reset. We'll just go into auto. So we're on the main page. I'm not quite sure what this is called, but it's not on the cycle page. That way I can set my zeros and stuff like that where I want. It thinks it's at 3.3 and it's definitely not. So the X didn't get set yesterday, so no big deal. So let's run the Z down, and I'm just going to touch it off real quick here to the face of the chuck jaw there. Doesn't have to be extremely accurate or anything like that, but we'll zero that. We'll also call that part 0. That way I don't have to write any negative numbers on any code or anything. And then I'm going to start it up, and I'm going to run in, and I'm just going to touch it. We'll measure the Delrin, see how big it is, and we'll call that good for setting our X. I'm just touching there, so I'm going to go ahead and zero this. Well, I don't have to zero it. Let's do this. Let's measure it, and they both should be close enough. So it's 1/130, 1 inch point 130, and if I remember right, that's what we put in. I started to put in yesterday. So 1.130. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to back that X away. I'm going to take the Z, and then I'm going to run over past the stock there. I'm going to come down here and I'm going to type G0X0. And I'm sure you can go in here and just type the 1/130 there and do it that way, but I've gotten used to doing it this way. It's been predictable, so I've been calling it good. So now we'll go over to the other page here. Let's pull up a wizard. Oh, you know, I should probably just pull up another program that I was doing a similar cutoff on. Let's try that. Let's load cotter bowl. Op2, op1. So this is the one with the rounding and the cutoff. So I only want to start with the cutoff. Well, let's go into cycle. I'm going to edit. This gives me all my codes for the start, my M3, and then everything for the end here. And basically, I only want the first part here that does the cutoff, and then it rapids out to safety. So let's just delete everything else for now. File, save as, Delrin washer. I did that so I can close it out, because I wanted to get a measurement here. And I think I got the measurement yesterday. I don't know what it was. Okay, I'm up against the plastic there, and I got 3.03. Seems to me the other one's longer, right? Yep, the other one's longer, so I picked 3.1 to start with. So, let's we'll just move the two of those away for a little bit. So let's go into this. We don't have to edit that one, we need to open. Delrin washer. Okay, so I'm going to rapid to, because I typically want to park out at 3 and 3. This time I'm going to have to park at 3 and 3.5 or 4 and 3. So that's where I want to start. So I'll always start outside of the part. Okay. So I'm just going to assume that it's starting out there because that's part of the preparation. So I can go in at an angle to an X of instead of 1.13, let's go 1.14. That'll keep it 10 thou out. And a Z of 3.1 is where I started. Okay, now I'm going to feed at a feed rate of 1 in. I'll change that later. And I want to go G1X into, I don't want to go into 0.20. This is 0.623. Oh, I want to do a cut down the outside first. Yeah, so so I'm going to take that to 1 inch. Is that what I decided? Seems I said. Okay, yeah, there we go. Not 100, but 1 inch on that taper there. Okay. So we'll go there. We'll backspace. That's going to put me there. 3.1 Z of. Let's make that 3.3. Okay. That is going to be the rapid into the corner of the for the face. Now this is starting off at 1.13. This is Delrin. I would imagine it's going to cut. I know it's going to cut extremely easy, and I want to take it down. So that's going to be 130 thou. So I could make it in 2 passes. Well, let's G1. And a lot of times I don't bother to capitalize what I'm putting in, and then I know whether or not it was pre-existing or what I changed it to. So G1, we're already at the X of what we want. We're going to just try to take it in 1 cut, and I'll have to vary my feed rate a bit with that. But let's go to Z.1, which will keep it 100 thou out from the jaws, and I could although I can adjust that closer later, but just for safety's sake right now. So 0.1. Okay, and then I'm gonna, from that I can wrap it back at an angle to G0 X 1.1. That'll give me 100 thou clearance. I guess if you guys are going to watch that, I might as well put it up here on the screen in case I actually use it or post it. Okay. And then I want a Z of 0.2. So it's going to come out 150 thou. Oh yeah, so I should probably make that more. Let's make that Z 1.2. Because that's only a change in the diameter, not the radius. So that'll give me 100 thou in the radius. It'll come out and over to the right, to the positive, away from the jaws. 100 thou on each movement. So now I want to run all the way back to Z 3.3. G0 Z 3.3. Ooh, I need a feed rate in there. That was, yeah, so G1, let's tell it what the feed rate is here. Feed rate of, well, let's start with 4 and see what 4 looks like. Okay. So now I'm gonna go back to the right, back to the positive direction, past the part. I'll still be 100 thou out. So now I can, I'm doing that, so now I can take up the backlash and move back to the left and have the ball screw loaded correctly and have any play in the saddle taken up. So then this next one is going to be G0 X 1.02. We'll bring it out. We'll leave it 20 thou out. And Z, I needed 150 thou wide. And the cutter is 40 thou, if I remember right. 40 thou. So I got to go 190 thou from the... oh, I need to do my cutoff now. Okay, so that's the 3.1. We'll start at the 3.1. So Z 3.1. Okay, now I'm going to G1. Still at the feed rate of 4. I'm sure that's fine going in on the Delrin. G1 X 0.63. 0.630. Now I could go a little further, but I know that's when it's going to hit the thing, so I'll have to see if the part pops off early enough, or if I go any further it'll just shove the part off, so that may be an option too. We'll see how clean it cuts it off. The cutter's way sharper, so it should cut it instead of just simply push the plastic out of the way and leave a big ass mess in the way. Okay, so now I've gone in with my plunge to clean up the end, start the first wash or whatever, but that's where I'm starting. So now I need to go back to the right, positive. I can G0, the wizards tend to put G1s in here for some reason, but instead of 3.1 I can make it the 3.3 again. 3.3, when it goes out, then I can come back to 1.02, oh, not 1.02, I want to come out to 1.2. Whoops, and that's an X, so that's going to be a G0 X 1.2. So I'm going over and out. Now I want to go to the next spot. The cutter is 0.4 and I want 150, so I need 0.19 less than the 3.1 I went in and cut. So 3.1 minus 0.19 equals 2.91. So then this is going to be a G0 to, I'm going to put the Z number first because that's the one I got figured out, 2.91. And the X will be the 1.02. Okay, then I'm going to G1 the X into the 0.630. Now I can just where are we? Here we go. Those two moves there that take it out to safety, I can just go ahead and whoops. Let's paste that back in there. Okay, that's going to get me back out off the stock. Now I can G0 Z, and instead of 2.91 I can subtract 0.19. So 2.72, and the X back to 1.02. Okay. And since this was supposed to be part of the plunge for the cut, I can just get rid of that. So, okay, so now I've got it positioned off the rod where I want to go in. Oh, yes, and so then, now I have 3 steps I can repeat, because that 630 is where it's going to go into. I don't necessarily have to come all the way out. In fact, I'm not going to want to when I start getting more than a few in. But for testing, let's just do a couple rows. So that pulls it out to there. And there's our M5 and our M30. So this is Delrin washer. If I tell it to close, save the changes, yes. We're going to go back to this page. We are going to tell it to unload. We're going to load. G-code. I backed out one too far. Truck parts. Poly bushing. Delrin washer. Unknown G-code used. Block G0 3.3. Ah, because I didn't give it a Z. So let's edit that. And I need to put a Z in front of there. Whoops. We'll edit Z in type text. And since I did a copy on that, I copied it more than once. So, okay, let's see how that works. Okay, so hopefully you can see that well enough. It does our single cut, comes back out at an angle, comes all the way over here, then it goes back in at an angle, does the cut, boom, boom, out, into the cut, back out. So this travel here, from here, I'm going to want to keep adjusting that. And what I can do is, I could just take this for the next one and tell it to, or even for this one, I can tell it to come to here and all the way out to here. So I can just keep changing that number. So it'd be real easy to go in and do a cut and paste and have it come all the way out to here, but I'd be wasting a ton of time. But let's edit this real quick. Let's put in a line here that says G0 X3, and I need it to clear the next part because this is going to be the end of the code. Z, dang it. This keyboard is getting chips underneath it, so it's not wanting to work. Z 3.5. Okay, and let's hit delete, bring that up a little bit. Okay, let's save this and let's do a little cut, see what it does. I'm only expecting it to make 2 washers since the 3.1 is out here. It's a little on the long side. I'm not expecting the first one to be the right thickness at all. I might want to turn the air hose on just to blow this stuff away. And I'm sure I go more aggressive and make that a lot thicker. Maybe actually have some chips that break away. Alright, there's the first one that doesn't do anything. There's the second one. Okay. So I am going to have to go in further because on both of them, this is the side the cutter went down, it left a big burr there. Here we go, this is the cutter side. Now that comes off real easy. That's not really much of an issue. But if I can tell it to go in a little further and not have to follow up with that, there's no burr on the outside, that's nice and clean. Perfect. Look at that. I like that. And I could actually take it down a little lower than 1 inch, but I'm gonna leave it there and we'll see how it cuts some of the others. Alright, well this is what I've got. You can watch over here and kind of step through to see how it runs. So that's just the start. That's the pulls it into the first position. There's our OD turn. There's our return back. Position for the first facing cut, washer basically cut off. Stepped over to here, back out. It'll go over 2, in, over. You'll see it come back out. It doesn't show the whole line there. Then it'll step over to, in, out, over to. I'm going to get, the first one here is questionable. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. We get 16 washers out. That's 8 sets. That ain't bad. I probably only get about 12 if I was using the other cutoff tool.